All right, today is July 22nd, 2022. We are going to do an update on market direction to see where we are likely headed next week. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to take a look here at SPY first. All right. So this is, I'm looking at the weekly chart right now. So this is where we closed at today, which I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So if you take a look at the details here, you can see here that we closed above this resistance area. So this is the week. So remember we had that big fall on the daily for SPY not too long ago, this fall right here. Well, this is what this was here, right? So when we had that big fall, we fell below this support area, which was about I'd say about 390, right? When we fell, this area became resistance. And you can see here that we were under this resistance area for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. 5 weeks, we were under this area. Now remember, this was support, then it became resistance. So these levels, what makes them significant is when they're used multiple times. So the fact that it broke this level and it was holding for a few weeks prior before it even fell through, once it fell through, it stayed under, touched this 200-day moving average, and now we are back above. So this candle has completed for the week. Today is Friday. So the fact that we closed above this 390 does show some signs that we may be headed in an upward momentum here within these next few weeks, days, so forth. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily here. So if you, and actually I should put the link for my for the Discord for the pre-market analysis. So my team already knew they were anticipating this rejection today. And the reason why I felt like we were going to reject here is because this area here is a pretty strong resistance area. Of course, I anticipated we may come up a little bit to fill this gap, but because we were so overbought on the lower time frames, this area is also just as significant. This 398, it actually touched almost 400, but pretty much this area here is a rejection or a resistance area here, up here. So that's where we rejected. Now, why do I still like this? I love this. This looks really good because remember, we need to pull back in order to create patterns so that we can continue to keep going, guys. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is we're probably going to range here back at this 391 here, this 391, which is the area that we just talked about on the weekly chart here, the area that we just broke. This 390, sorry guys, all these lines, this 390 area. So we're still above that here on the daily. So if you look at the most current price action here, you can see that a flag was formed, or that it's trying to form anyway. And you can see here that it rejected this zone here at 398. So this is going to be the resistance now. And it's consolidating between this 390 and 398. So this is about $7 to $8 move of consolidation. So if they continue to consolidate in this zone, which I'm assuming that's probably what's going to happen, because remember, when stocks start consolidating in between zones like this, they're trying to create a pattern so that they can continue to rise. So most likely, we will end up heading this way if we can stay within this zone here of 400, we'll say approximately 400 and 390. So we'll say about, $7, $8, $9 approximately you have between these levels here. So this is what I'm anticipating. Daily chart still looks extremely bullish. You can see this big W here forming. You got all of this money flow. And I did also confirm that with other stocks. So if you review some of the other stocks like Apple, Tesla, you can see they're all bullish as well on the daily, which does indicate more momentum going forward. So we may have some bullish momentum coming up here soon, more bullish momentum rather. All right, so this is my speculation for SPY in terms of how we're going to be moving next week until we break. We either break up or we break down, guys. You know that overall we have been having a lot of selling pressure, so we're still very careful in this zone right here. We know this 362 was a heavy demand zone, and we knew that from the weekly chart here because it was right here at the 200 MA, which this is where we turned at, which I kind of estimated we would turn here because this 200 MA is good because it can act as a level of support, and that's what it did here. So this is where we started. Now we're coming back up here. So I think that's kind of where we're going to be at next week, unless we break this flag and we fall below. If we start falling below these levels, then that's of course not a good sign. But the fact that we did break this 381 recently here that we've been rejecting, and then once we broke that 381, we just continued to rise going forward, and now it appears that we're going to be consolidating in this flag. So I definitely like where we are right here. So we're going to take a look at Sqqq to see where they closed at today and what's going on with them. So let's clear this out here. Okay. So with Sqqq, you can see it's kind of like the opposite. You can see this big M pattern, and this is a double top. There is no money flow. Now we are sitting here, right here at the 200 MA on the daily, which of course this could be acted, as a support area too. So we could do a few things, like this here could be a pull for the bears, like a bearish pattern. And if you think about it, on SPY, we had the bullish flag. So Sqqq could range in between this area as well. So they could range between this flag until they break it. So come up here to down here, back to support, up here, down here, up here, until they break down. SPY looks like they're consolidating in the bullish flag, in that flag pattern until they break up. Because what happens with Sqqq is they're generally inverse of SPY because they're inverse of QQQ, and QQQ follows SPY. So generally, if Sqqq is in bearish momentum, then our equities are going to be in bullish momentum. So that's kind of what helps me when I'm analyzing my equities. I always look at Sqqq because if it's in the opposite direction, then it tells me that my analysis in SPY, or the probability of my analysis in SPY, in the direction is the right direction. So I use them together here. All right, so we know that we could potentially be forming this bearish flag here on the daily with Sqqq. So of course that's confirmation for SPY for me in terms of my analysis. Now let's see how they close this week. Oh, you can't really see a lot with Sqqq because they really, don't have, because they've been down for so long, they don't really have a lot of movement. But I can look here at this RSI, and this is like a funky pattern right here. This here is like a double top pointing straight down. So I don't really see like a lot of volume here with them. So I could just really analyze the daily here. If they fall below this 200 MA right here, if they do create this bearish flag, and it ends up, it ends up panning out to where they follow through with this pattern. Say this is created. This is kind of a funny looking flag here. But say this bearish flag was created and it ends up falling through, it breaks the pattern, then our next level is going to be about right here. So it'll break and then probably end up touching here at this 40.9. It has a lot more room to go down, guys. Like we're only at 27.5. I mean, it could go way under, like here. So again, I do see bearish momentum here on Sqqq. So probably within the next, maybe next week, we'll probably range in between this flag until we break down. And then of course, in opposition with SPY, it'll be consolidating in this bullish flag pattern right here until they break through. And with daily having, these bullish flags and all of this momentum and volume coming in, I can definitely see us consolidating between these zones until a break occurs. And again, when the break occurs, we'll probably touch the next resistance level. Now, what's significant about this level here is was very strong around this area. This is the level that it rejected before it came all the way down. And you can see that right before that big ass fall, it actually was creating a bullish flag. You can see this bullish flag that broke. So this is how you know that patterns can fail. They can break, guys, because when this broke, it went way down here. So if we make it back up to here, I do see that this is going to be a resistance. So there'll probably be a rejection, but I don't anticipate it falling like this again. It may fall and test this level, this 400 as new support. And because right now it's resistance, so it would become new support. So as long as we hold this 400 level, once we get up here, say if we do get to 414 and then it rejects, we would anticipate about coming back down to 400 as new support. If we would hold this area, then that would be more confirmation that we, want to keep heading up, of course. So that would be the primary goal. But again, we do have to have these red days because in order for stocks to keep going, they have to create, these patterns. These patterns are necessary. But as long as it's moving in the direction and creating the necessary patterns in order to keep going, then that's really what you're looking for. And I see that happening right now with all of the bullish momentum and the current patterns that are being formed. All right, guys. Well, I hope this helps. Bye for now.